Come on. Come on.
Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video. So in this one, we are going to dive into exactly how I program to gain as much tissue as we possibly can as naturals. It will still apply if you were assisted, but with the guys who we work with, naturals, building that tissue, holding on to that tissue, that is what this video is going to be about. Now, of course, I've coached for 9 years. I've looked at a lot of studies. I've looked at a lot of research. You never know exactly who is this research on, who is that there. So this might be nice and refreshing for you to hear from somebody who is not a genetic freak, cannot just do whatever he wants and get away with it, and has worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guys over 9 years of doing this. Think, boys, right? This is all I've ever done. Since I was working when I was 18, this is all I have ever done, right? So from my experience of working with 16, 17, 18, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, however old clients might have been over that time, this is my experience of, right, where is programming right now in terms of what we do to try and make sure we can guarantee those results. Now, of course, some people's training will need to be different. Some people have injuries. That is not what I'm saying, so don't think you're all smart going into the comments and being like, this is needed, that's not needed, da-da-da. If you've got more results than we have got, happy days, please fire away. But if you want to see the results I'm talking about, there's the proof there, right? Go and have a look. And this isn't me being in any kind of camp. This is just what works for most when we're looking at getting the results and the base of that programming. So if you're new here, make sure you sub because there's plenty more coming. Drop the vid a like, comment what you think, and let's get into it, boys. So when we're training, we're in to train, right? We are in to get that done. You know, a lot of people message me, do I need to do more cardio? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Say if they're in a fat loss phase or how much do they need to train when they're in a gaining phase and all of this. The focus when we are training, for me as a coach, is can this client get as close to failure as possible right now? Training to failure is a skill. It will take time to actually reach true failure. A lot of the time, when you're newer to training, something will break down within the movement, so you just fail the movement. The muscle hasn't actually failed. Like your squat will just fail, your quads haven't actually failed. So reaching failure is the focus, right? And the more that we can do that, again, we go off experience, we go off feel, we go off research as well. Those reps, that's where we're gonna get our most bang for our buck. Think about we're trying to break those fibers down, right? What are we doing in the gym? We're trying to push for that. So if we can get as close to that as possible, for me, when we start to mess around with reps in reserve and stuff like that, do we really know when we're 2, 3 reps? Sometimes do we even know we're at true failure? So how do we know we've got 2 reps in the tank, 3 reps in the tank? So that is why I will steer away from that for most people. And that is because we can get our most bang for our buck from those last reps, those failure reps. So we're trying to get composed to get to there. That's the focus. So across that set, what we're looking at, and this is why we have the team call every single Thursday where I will pull up 4 videos from the boys, we will break them all down, because we're looking at these 3 main things in particular. Mechanical tension, right? First part of that being time under tension. Have we actually got time under tension on the working muscle? So have we got that? Tick, yes. We're not just banging that around, tension's going onto joints, we've not actually got any tension there. So have we got time under tension? Have we got a full range of motion? So first of all, with the program, right, have we got time under tension there? Control. Have we got a full range of motion with a bicep curl? We're coming into a nice full stretch. We're contracting hard with a press. We're coming into a nice full stretch. We're driving through. Time under tension and that full range. From there, that is when, right, let's lift as much load as we possibly can. And we're gonna go into rep ranges now with what I like. So, right, okay, we've got those 2 in place. Now, let's lift as much load with those as we can. If we add the load and the time under tension disappears and our range of motion halves or gets worse, that's gonna be less stimulus. So to get as much stimulus as we possibly can, we're trying to reach that failure point with the time under tension, with the full range of motion, with as much load as we possibly can. And it's as simple as that. When we get those 3 there as our base and we push those close to failure, we are going to be creating the stimulus to grow. And in terms of progressing that and moving forward, that's what we're going to touch on as well. But make sure on your checkbook, right, I'm trying to push to failure. Right, I've got those 3 ticked off. Boom. If somebody can do that, we're on to a winner straight away. So in terms of then what we're training what, if we just have, say, a massive chest session and a massive back session and those single body parts, again, if you grow from that, fantastic. We may do that with some people, absolutely. For most people there, say when we are doing those things and we're really pushing hard and we're really pushing to failure, to the end of those sessions, the quality of the work will start to get a little bit worse. The quality of the sets will get worse, they're not progressing as much. We've got the work we needed to pretty much within the first half of that. So for me as a coach, what that tells me is, right, and again, there's a plenty of research that will back this up. You'll find research that will back up anything, right? But what I like to try and do as much as possible is, can we hit all body parts twice across the week where possible? Can we hit 2 variations of our push, 2 variations of our pull? Have legs, put some leg work elsewhere. If they're not as much of a priority, we might spread that out. If they are a priority, we might run the 2 leg days, and then we might throw an upper in there. So we might have the push-pull legs, the legs again, and then an upper. We might have the push-pull legs and then just an upper. So can we get, let's say 80% of them body parts hit twice across the week? That's always a nice focus there. If we've got those things in place and we're progressing those and we're doing those there twice across the week, for me as a coach, I know that a client, right, the frequency of that is there, the quality of that work then can stay nice and high. When we're trying to do that, say we've got 16 sets of chest, if we're really pushing that, I know for me, those last sets, quality will be super poor. They're not going to be progressing. I'm probably not even going to enjoy that by that point, and then I'm going to struggle to progress that and grow. So that's why I try and steer away from that as much as possible. So rep ranges. This is something I've been looking a lot at this year, and because for me, when I'm watching sets and when I'm going through programs of, right, again, I'm going through programs every day. What's stalling? What are we struggling with? Okay, it's something where we've got 10 to 15 reps, 15 to 20 reps. Joints hurting a little bit. We're feeling battered after these. We're not looking forward to these. So what I like as a base is that 6 to 12 rep range. And I'm going to explain why. Again, we know from research with hypertrophy rep ranges, anything from those, let's say 4 to 30 reps, right? We're going to get our hypertrophy there. That is what we need from a rep range in terms of, right, okay, we're training to build muscle, right? That's the range that we want to be in. Let's say we're less than 6. Some sets might just undershoot and fall into that. If we did everything under 6 reps, imagine that with your lateral raises, with your flies. Joints would be battered. It'd be very difficult to actually stay accurate, and you're probably going to be absolutely fried as well. And that connection probably just isn't going to be there. It's very easy as well to just overshoot that load if we're going for something that's below 6 reps. So above that 6 reps is where I like to stay. Now, we will of course put some sets up to say 15 reps. I'm edging more so to keeping that around 12, and this is why. So when I watch sets that are over 12 reps, for most people, they will start to rush to then get to them last reps because they know they've got to get 13, 14, 15. So the control isn't there. They might be cutting range like I went through at the start. Whereas when we have something that's in that 6 to 12, for me, that's kind of that sweet spot where we're still lifting a good amount of load. We've still got that nice full range of motion, and we can actually have the time under tension. And to get to that first point, failure, we can stay composed enough to get there. I watched a lot of sets that are 13, 14, 15 reps, and everything will start to break down because of the composure there, because the set is just so long. So for me personally, I don't really like going over that 12 reps because I know if I have got complete control of my eccentrics, I've got say a row, I've got a complete control, nice pause in the stretch, I'm driving back, I'm locking that in. If I do a set of that with 12, that's a long set. That's a very, very long set. Of course, I could just fly through that, but are we then ticking the boxes that I went through at the start? So for me, as a base, I think if we've got that control, obviously if you do a 7 rep set and you just fly through it, we don't have the time and attention, then no, it's not going to be enough. But if you do 7 with a press, where you've genuinely got that control, nice full stretch, and you're driving through, guarantee your chest will be absolutely fried. So as a base, I like to stay in and around that 6 to 12. A lot of thing we'll get as well is if sessions are taking a long time. You know, if you're busy, if we've constantly got sets, we're trying to lift with this control, we've got sets over 12 reps, over 12 reps, over 12 reps. We're going to be in the gym for absolutely ages, and we might not necessarily want that. I know for me, I'd rather get that good quality work in a little bit less time than them sets taking absolutely ages. So for me, I like to stay in that 6 to 12, and that's why. So what we're looking at then is keeping those things progressing. That's why on our app for clients, they can log their training. So they have their program, they have the videos of how to do each movement, and they can then log the movements in the app there. And we obviously get that feedback then across the week. So we need that progressive stimulus to grow. So it doesn't have to just be that load. It doesn't need to be a rep up or a load. If we get 9, but then we look at the set and then we get 9 again and control was better, range of motion was better, it was a much cleaner set, that is still stimulus. So think about stimulus as the work we are doing on that intended muscle, right? We're breaking that down, we're rinsing that, we're taking it as far as we can. If we improve form and control, that is going to be better, right? If we are a rep up, of course that is progression. So keep that form as standardized as possible. Don't just tick a box to get that rep, get that rep, get that rep. Keep form standardized. When we need to, and this is part of the programming, we can re-standardize that. That's absolutely fine. We can have a week where we say, right, this session just is not progressing. Let's get everything standardized again and let's get pushing on from there. Also, when we do hit those bumps, okay, we've pushed that training hard. After 12 weeks, do we need a deload? Do we need a little bit of a reset? Do we need to take 4 or 5 days away from training to get fresh and then push on again? And then the main thing in terms of how I program, training is a skill, right? It is so important that you give those movements time. I see it so much, oh, can we swap this out? And then I'll watch the set, there's 6 things that we can change. That's why it's stalling, that's why it's feeling bad. We take a plate off, we have a pause, we drive through, feels much better, and we actually progress it. So remember, training is a skill. Being able to do these things and take them to failure in each movement is a skill. Stick with your movements, apply those things there, and you will get good. If you go from dumbbell press to bench press to incline Smith to this week after week, those things, if you looked at that across months, they'd just stay the same, or they'd have small improvements, but then they might stall, or you might even go backwards because it feels really heavy, right? Master the skill of each movement. Get good at your movements. They will progress. When we have all of those other things in place, that is how we grow. So as a base, that is how I like to set things up. When we've got a client on board and we're looking at, right, we need to guarantee this person progress. That is the base of there's proof of that. And again, all of those results are on my Instagram. So go and have a look at that. There's proof of that with myself, with Cody on the team, with how we train, with how the boys train there, of 100 results last year that we shared, right? There's so much there. So any questions with any of that, let me know. But if you're not making progress right now, keep those things as your base and let me know how you get on, because I promise you, you will make progress as long as you're consistent with that. Then obviously we need to look at diet, we need to look at sleep. That is what coaching is, right? We need to look at all the other things, but just from a training standpoint, that is why I program the way we do, the way I do, the way that we do, and that's what gets results, boys. It's as simple as that. And that's not just from studies. That's not just a 16-year-old who's read a study and be like, oh, you need to do this because, no. That's from working with real people over real time with real experience, right? And again, me building my physique from having no elite genetics for bodybuilding, right? And it's important to get that across, and that's why I wanted to speak about this on this week's video. So there is plenty more coming. Please drop me a like, drop me a comment. Any questions that you do want to ask, like I said, make sure you subbed. 2 videos a week are incoming, so do not miss them. And if you do like the sound of how we do things, how we train, the results that we get, let's have a chat about coaching. Let's go through your goals, right? There's no pressure there. We genuinely have a chat about what you're trying to do. So if you are keen, the link is always in the description. Just fill in that simple form, nice and simple. As well as that, my Perform code is there, Luke25, 25% off Perform, and like I said, with those results, all socials are there, so make sure you're following Lukewhitneycoach. I appreciate you watching, boys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.